So we all already know that Kathleen Kennedy isn't a good storyteller, she isn't a good studio head, and she just isn't a good fit for Star Wars. But a lot of actors recently have been coming out and saying some things that makes me think that she's causing a bad work environment for them as well. And that has been rumored in the past, but there's really been no proof because it seems like everyone that works on The Mandalorian has a lot of fun on that set. And while some of the actors for the sequel trilogy didn't like those movies too much, it still looked like they were having fun on those sets and that they enjoyed working on the Star Wars movies. Well, at least some of them did. But because of what these actors and actresses are saying about Star Wars and about Lucasfilm, I'm starting to think that not only is Kathleen Kennedy causing a bad work environment for her current actors, but I'm also starting to think that actors don't even want to come into work for Star Wars anymore. Which, if someone can turn Star Wars into a property that no one wants to work for, at that point you have to be actively trying to ruin Star Wars. Because Star Wars has always been that property that no matter who you are, no matter what you do, you always want to be in a Star Wars movie. Because being involved in Star Wars is like being royalty, but it seems like it's not that way anymore. So let's start off with the Benedict Cumberbatch interview, because that's the most recent one. Benedict was straight up asked if he would ever want to play Thrawn in live action Star Wars, because he has been the one that's been fan cast the most, and honestly I think he would have been the best Thrawn out of anyone. The main problem that I have with Benedict coming in to play Thrawn is that he's such a high profile actor. I think throughout the years Star Wars has done a great job of finding unknown actors that don't already have a face in other franchises, and turning them into stars. That's the main reason why I have a problem with actors like Keanu Reeves or Benedict Cumberbatch coming into Star Wars, because they're already known for other franchises. But anyway, even if Star Wars did want Benedict Cumberbatch to come and play Thrawn, it seems like he wouldn't want the part anyway. Here's the quote.
There's a lot of people that would like you to play a character called Grand Admiral Thrawn. And I'm just curious if you've heard people saying this, because I could see you playing this role.
Grand Admiral Thrawn. Does he turn into Peter Cushing or something? Is that?
No, he's blue. He's a very cool character. That's a villain that you'd be under like a blue makeup thing. Anyway, I'm just curious if
I think that's a straight no for me right now. There's no way I want to be turned blue. I could turn the hair blue very, very recently, but no, seriously, I precious time with my children, and I think sitting in a makeup chair being painted blue and the amount of time it would take to do that and then take it off at the end of the day might just, it's not the right time in my life for that.
So this is just my opinion, but what it seems like to me here is that he's making up excuses why he doesn't want to work for Star Wars. And look, the guy probably doesn't know who Thrawn is, but if this was 15 years ago or even 5 years ago when The Force Awakens was coming out, I guarantee you if Benedict was asked to be in Star Wars, he would have said yes in an instant. He probably even would have said yes to play a stormtrooper with a mask on and no one would even know that he's in it except for him. Actors and high profile people do that all the time. They always want to be stormtroopers, they always want to be aliens in the background because it's Star Wars. But him saying no to playing Thrawn is a big tell that actors really don't want to be in Star Wars anymore. It's just not as prestigious as it used to be. And it also comes with so much baggage because 99% of the time now people just hate your movie. And I'm not blaming that on the fans. I'm blaming that on Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy for ruining Star Wars. And it's funny because I'm always a sequel apologist saying that it's not as bad as you think it is and we can enjoy it for what it is. But I still acknowledge that those movies could be so much better if someone was in charge that actually understood what needs to be done. But the fact that actors like Benedict Cumberbatch no longer want to be in Star Wars, I mean, he doesn't even know who Thrawn is and he straight up just said no without even thinking about it. For all he knows, Thrawn could be the main character of the next Star Wars movie. He doesn't know, and he straight up turned it down on the spot. Now, there could be other reasons for this. Maybe he actually did want the Thrawn role and didn't get the part. Maybe he's mad because he didn't get the part, and now he's making it seem like he would never take that role in 1,000 years because he's a little jealous. That's very unlikely because he's such a high-profile actor, and I'm sure he turns down roles all the time. But it is a small possibility. And the other possibility is that he actually is Thrawn, and he just really doesn't want to give it away. Personally, I think Lars Mikkelsen is probably perfect for the role because he isn't as high-profile as Benedict Cumberbatch. He isn't really known for another franchise. Plus, he already did the voice and he has a pretty good face for it, so I think it just works. But it is a possibility that Benedict is already Thrawn and he just doesn't want to give it away. But Benedict isn't the first actor to come out and say some things that make me think that Lucasfilm has a toxic work environment to the point that actors don't want to be in Star Wars anymore. The obvious example is Gina Carano coming out and talking about how much Lucasfilm bullied her into stopping her tweets. And she also said in the interview that she's not the only one that's ever been bullied by this company. And she revealed a lot of other things in that interview that makes it pretty obvious that some stuff is going on in there. But not only did that interview expose the toxic work environment inside of Lucasfilm, but it was also a message to all other actors in the world that this isn't a good place to work. So by Kathleen Kennedy firing Gina Carano, not only did you alienate a lot of the fan base and make them extremely mad at you, but you also alienated a big portion of the talent that could be hired for your future project. And I really don't think it's only going to be conservatives that don't want to work for Star Wars anymore. I don't think it matters what your political views are, you're not going to want to work in a toxic environment. And during the sequel trilogy, it was a little different because the movies were getting backlash backlash, but it was still a Star Wars movie, so everyone wanted to direct it, everyone wanted to write it, and everyone wanted to be in it. For one thing, it's going to be on Disney Plus and it's Star Wars shows and not movies, so it's not as prestigious. And for another thing, the fans hate pretty much everything that Star Wars ever puts out anymore. And I'm not saying it's the fans' fault, they just make subpar content. But actors don't want to deal with that. They want to be in movies and shows that are loved. And the fact that they make bad content and have a bad work environment, and it's just not as prestigious as it used to be, makes them not want to work for Lucasfilm anymore. And I think the Gina Carano firing and then all the stuff that Gina Carano came out and said about Lucasfilm kind of just cemented the fact that no one wants to come and work for them anymore. You're going to be stuck casting people that are relatively unknown, which I think is a good thing. I don't think they should be casting people like Benedict Cumberbatch, but I think for certain roles, A-list actors could work. While I want them mostly casting unknown actors, I don't want them to be limited to certain talent, because at the end of the day, actors and actresses make movies good or bad. You can't have a good movie with bad acting. But then we have Bill Burr and Carl Weathers who tried their best to speak out against the Gina Carano firing without getting fired themselves. Bill Burr went on his podcast and talked about how Gina Carano was such a great person. He kind of just condemned cancel culture, talked about how great Gina is as a person, and said that he has to watch what he says now because he's scared of getting canceled himself. But what he never did was defend Gina's actions. But I think all the fans who actually care about this stuff, and also Lucasfilm, knows exactly what he was doing. It was also him saying that Gina shouldn't have been fired, and my opinion only is that he's saying that Lucasfilm has a toxic work environment. And firing people like Gina Carano who are loving people and promote peace and positivity, you're going in the wrong direction. You're making the work environment even worse. You're making actors like Benedict Cumberbatch not want to work in Star Wars even more. And then you have Carl Weathers who promotes this peace and positivity about as much as Gina did, and he's retweeting old advertisements with him and Gina, and he's tweeting subliminal type messages talking about cancel culture being so bad and stuff like that. It's just so obvious that all these actors that work for Lucasfilm, have worked for Lucasfilm, or maybe work for Lucasfilm in the future, they're unhappy with the way Lucasfilm is being run. And you're going to alienate potential top tier talent in the future from working for your company if you keep this up. But let me know what you think about actors not wanting to work for Star Wars anymore. I think it's really sad because it used to be this thing that everyone always wanted to be in, no matter if they were a stormtrooper or a background alien. It was just something that you wanted to be a part of, and it's just not that anymore. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, both of those links will be in the description. But thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.